Welcome
Welcome
to
to
Shade and the
Shade in the
City.
City.
I'm your girl, Treese.
It's Nels.
And today, y'all, we're jumping into Married at First Sight, season 16, episode 16. I believe it was called
The Unbearable
Unbearable.
Truth.
Oh, Unbearable Truth. Yeah. I didn't think it was
I
giving
think it,
much.
I think it was because of the Bears.
Yeah. I did like that. That would have been me. But anyway, I didn't think
Okay.
with the Bears, yeah, I like stuff like that. So I like wildlife. So
I'd have been just like Shaq and Eris at the door.
you're stupid. So yeah, y'all, if you haven't already, please make sure that you hit that like button.
And that subscribe button.
And y'all, let's jump into it. Let's get into it. I really didn't feel like it was giving that much. But it's a part of the show, so we have to review it. So all right. Yeah, so let's get into it and let's get shady. We see the couples, they're getting ready for the retreat and they're supposed to be figuring out any last minute kinks in their marriage before decision day. So apparently they have a man's pageant plan. Eris hopes he doesn't get placed in a room next to Nicole and Chris or Kirsten and Gina. And thank God, I mean Kirsten and Shaq. And thank God I'm not really like reading off my notes because that is not what my notes say. Nicole and Gina are definitely not sharing a room together. I don't know what I was writing. Anyway, so Jasmine pulled out some card games on their ride so they could talk. Now, one of the questions being, well, to me, the most important one, I ignored all the other ones. But basically, what he learned from her. And she basically doesn't feel like she's hitting the Nicole on us. I don't think you've learned anything from me. So why are we playing this game? But anyway, so he says that she taught him how to give himself grace. And she's wondering how he got to that answer. And he said, basically, because you just tell me not to be I felt like it was a BS answer. I can't even
He
tell
was
you.
like, basically you taught me to live in my truth and feel how I feel without feeling guilty about it. And she was like,
she got it. So
look, is those pageant answers rubbing off on him?
I guess
Is
so.
that is that is
Because
that is that the
that's what it
reason?
gave me.
Is
That's
that
what it
look?
gave me. He
Is
just
that the
thought
reason it was him over Clint?
anyway. So the next one is who would struggle more if they broke up? And then he just says, you know what? These aren't happy questions.
Right?
And he was like, this will have somebody divorced playing this box.
Hey, look, I was like, you didn't even have to read that one out loud. You could have just been, you know what, skip.
Right. So then we see Chris and Nicole on their way, and Nicole wants to talk about this resident situation on the way to the retreat. And I felt like Nicole wanted an answer right then and there. And I think it frustrated her that he wasn't going to give her an answer right then and there in
Is
that
that
moment.
why you thought like the whole little hissy fit was happening?
Yes,
Oh,
absolutely. She was pissed off because he didn't give her a direct answer to be like, she was like, well, we need a plan and you don't have a plan. And I was like, but you're not going to decide it in the car on it. Like, unless he absolutely says, I'll do whatever you want to do, Nicole, they weren't going to solve. That's why I was just like, I don't know why you picked this moment, the retreat. So I get it, but I felt like that could have waited till you
and
got
see,
back.
I thought that she was cool once he actually gave her a day to talk about it. He was like, okay, we'll figure it out on Monday. And she was like, okay, Monday it
Oh,
is.
see,
I
I didn't
thought,
even hear him say that.
yeah, he was like, well, we'll talk about it on Monday. Cause he's like, let's enjoy the weekend. You know what I mean? Like, we can't figure it out right now. Let's deal with it on Monday. And she was like, all right, Monday it is. So I thought she was cool after that. And then I thought her being late and gonna get the worst room was her catching the hissy fit. But if it's stemming from this, then that makes a lot more sense. Because I was like, this bitch is a big ass brat.
I think it was both, but you know how when you already in a mood and then stuff just continues, that's what it gave me. They apparently are going to Gatlinburg, Tennessee. And I have decided that Max is going to Gatlinburg sometime soon. And I'm going to do all the fun activities because they got a lot to do. Who knew? And they got bears.
When I went, I ain't never seen none of that. I didn't see that. Yeah, well, I mean, we're going to get activities, but
you can't sleep on these backyard towns. Look, Huntsville's the #1 city to live in America. Y'all better stop sleeping on these small towns. So everyone is concerned about the possibility of bears. Eris and Jasmine arrive first.
Except for Clint.
And of course, get first dibs on their room. And then Clint and Gina arrive to Eris serving shots. So he's ready to turn up. Clint is hoping because he and Gina must share a room that it'll bring them closer because they're still sleeping separately at the apartment. While Shaq and Kirsten arrive next, and he's hoping that they can work on what makes them happy. I said
she's more in her realtor mind, looking at all the upgrades to the house.
Right, she really was. She was like, "I love this island. That's a wet room." I was like, "Go ahead."
Like, this extended island, and he was like, "Okay, realtor."
You know what? Look, Kirsten, there's space for you somewhere on HGTV. You went to the wrong network. You didn't even have to marry nobody. You have a space somewhere. So yeah, Nicole and Chris get there last. Apparently, it took them a while longer, and she's upset and wants some quiet time, but knows she has to hang out with the other couples. So they start getting ready for this man's pageant, and Jasmine is rubbing lotion on Eris's ankles. And I was like, this servitude just really irritates me because you don't ever see him do that for her. Anyway, Gina gives Clint a man bun, which I thought was very sexy.
She's not, you're not going to catch her ass.
So Gina gives Clint a man bun while Kirsten is coaching.
Which looked very nice, y'all.
It did. It looked very sexy. Go ahead, Clint. While Kirsten is coaching Shaq on his walk. And then obviously they have Jasmine hosting the
event. Then Nicole is also trying to coach Chris on his walk. Like she didn't just need coaching about a week ago. Nicole, she was trying to coach Chris on how to walk.
When did he have to coach her on how to walk?
Huh?
When did he have to coach her on how to walk?
No, he didn't have to. I said she was getting coached. She was getting coached by Kirsten, remember?
Oh, yeah. But that's a sexy walk.
Is he not supposed to be doing a sexy walk?
No, he's supposed to be giving, not with that outfit that he had on. That was nothing that was sexy about it.
Yeah, I didn't know if he was supposed to be.
Yeah,
I think it pissed me off. He even got over Clint. You know what? Let's just move
somebody
on.
mad. So we get there to the man's pageant. They have Jasmine host, of course, beauty queen. And the ladies are all judges, and they're judging them on the look and the confidence.
Mm-hmm.
And then I guess who has the best answers.
That's the first category, and then she said the second category is the on-stage answers. So first up is Eris. His outfit was nice, you know, his confidence was on 1,000. He even passed his phone to the ladies and told them to take a picture so that they can keep this moment, and he'll airdrop it to them later. And literally went over there and posed. Kirsten was like, he is doing too much. He is doing.
It was. I was like, was that supposed to be sexy? Because that
too much.
That did nothing for me.
Then Shaq, his outfit was on 1,000. He had a nice little walk and turn. But I didn't really think like his
as Nicole said, he looked very dapper.
But nervous. His confidence was lacking a little bit. Now, Chris, I felt like he didn't take this seriously at all. I think he thought like it was a costume party or something.
Well, I guess he said, if I'm a go out here and buy this wig, then you know what, I'm gonna wear it more than once.
It was like a whole share wig. Like
he was trying to give. That's why I said he made sure when he went out and bought this wig, he was gonna wear it more than once, even if it wasn't necessarily appropriate or looked well for the man's
his confidence was on 2,000 because he even went out and tried to give a little strip tease. What don't nobody see that? Cover your ass up. Now, in my book, my boo Clint, he won. Okay, he came out with a man bun, leather jacket, and no shirt on. It's giving win, win, win. All I do is win. Okay, and of course he had to do his cute little dance. And Kirsten was even feeling it. She said he looks like a god of all wolves. I said, girl, I know you're right.
I didn't mind the hair so much, but the dancing, I said, Clint has no.
You can't expect too
much.
But
he's supposed to. What did he say? I'm the king of swag.
He said that. Okay.
If you mean swag like riding bulls, then absolutely. If you,
No, he
no,
means
what is it?
swag.
What is the one that they do when the brawny men did the log rolling? If
Yeah, Kirsten was with me. She didn't even say all that about her own husband. Come to find out later, she wasn't even really paying attention. His whole answer is because she was gazing into Clint. Okay, let's
to
go there.
Clint's furry patches on his chest.
Yes.
I that's the one thing I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm really big on like I don't
I
care.
don't like chest hair either,
I
but
don't.
I don't know. It was giving for Clint.
No, it looks good on Clint. I just don't know if I would want. I don't know if I would want that to be my chest pillow. I don't want fuzzies on my chest pillow.
I don't lay on people's chests anyway.
Hmm.
For the onstage portion, the first question was, if you were a marriage counselor, what would be your biggest piece of advice? Clint said, learn to love yourself and then spread love amongst everyone else. Shaq said, focus on your own
He
happiness.
definitely gives hippie though.
Huh?
He definitely gives hippie though.
That's why I wasn't surprised about the hair on the chest. He gives hippie. He gives Brody man. He gives
He does.
Viking, like he said in the bathroom. He gives Viking. And Shaq said, focus on your own happiness because then you become your best self and you can show up in your marriage and bring the other person joy. But you actually have to be happy yourself.
Kirsten looked like she was like, "What are you trying to
Because
say without
I
saying?"
think everybody was looking like that at first when he was like, focus on your own happiness. Everybody was like,
It definitely was given subliminals. Just my thoughts.
Well, he wants to focus on his own happiness and wants Kirsten to focus on his happiness as well. Chris said, always be true to who you are and show that unapologetically the whole time. Eris said, find out what type of partner is your partner. Especially as a husband, find out what makes your wife tick. I feel like, didn't he say something about what turns her on?
What turns her on? And then he says something about being able to meet her needs or and love her properly the way she needs to be loved.
Mm-hmm.
And then I said, my notes say Jasmine obviously helped him with these answers because I don't think there's any way that Eris came up with that when he damn sure ain't been doing it.
She was not supposed to read him the answers ahead of time. I feel a cheater amongst the mix.
I definitely agree. Because that, first of all, we ain't seen Eris do that all season to her. And now all of a sudden he's so profound and he get up on stage and got these answers. Girl, bad.
So then the next question was, divorce rate in the US is nearly 50%. What would be your plan in order to fix that? Eris says that he will change the legal age of marriage to 30 because he feels like people don't really know themselves until then. Shaq says get free marriage counseling.
So for what? For him, couples. It should be 40, 50? Because he's still, I feel
he got to soil his royal oaks first, apparently.
Okay.
I felt like Shaq.
Oh, because we know he's fine. He's been fine before he was married. He found himself.
As long as he can pay his car note and pay his rent, he don't give a damn about nothing else. Chris says, give married couples money to spend on their loved ones and take care of them on like a national day. Clint said he would have a penalty for divorce where everything would go to your spouse. How was that not the best answer? I mean, alongside of Shaq. Shaq had a really good answer. But I thought
Clint's answer was really good. Yeah, nigga, I would love a man that's not gonna fight me on what I feel I deserve anyway. So go ahead.
I'm telling you, he looked good and he gave great answers.
He did.
So then,
except his hippie answer.
I think that he just didn't have anybody in his corner to fight for him.
Yeah, because Gina was like, I really don't give a damn. Gina
exactly. That's really what I think it was. Everybody else was fighting for their spouse. Then the question was, do they still believe in traditional marriage roles? And do they hold up today? Shaq feels that they've switched and women are stepping up to become more independent. This did not look like it sit well with Kirsten. She's like, sir,
did she have a reaction to that? Maybe I missed it. I didn't see that.
Yeah. Yeah. And they put the camera right on her because this is not how she feels. She feels like, yeah, I should work and you should still buy the house and pay all the bills and do whatever. So
I
Chris
feel
said,
like all the men agreed though that gender roles are different because women are working now. Like it's different. The only person who had a different answer was Eris,
yeah,
where he
he
was
said
like, I feel like you should decide for your marriage. And
what.
that's why that was Jasmine gave him that. Jasmine gave him that too. She fed that to him.
So Chris said, the wife can go to work. You know, why not? She doesn't need to stay home. Clint says he thinks they do, but not like they used to. People don't have the same sanctity of marriage that they used to. And just like Tree said, Eris said, basically whatever works for your marriage. Now the third runner-up, Mr. Courageous and Mr. Outrageous, is my boo Clint, but he really should have been the number one.
But he was very courageous and outrageous all at the same time.
He should have been the king. I'm just saying. Second runner-up is Mr. Style and Swag, which was Shaq. And first
So we
runner-up,
know Clint couldn't have got that one.
what?
Mr. Style and Swag, he couldn't have got.
Yes. He's got confidence, which is really your swag. And he's got style. Or, well, at least he showed style there. At the pageant.
Right.
Okay, they can't go off of what happens previously, okay?
Just saying. That boy know how to rock a plaid flannel shirt. Anybody I know. I bet he just has different colors. He got them in blue, red, yellow, but they're all flannel.
Listen, they can't go off of their preconceived notions, okay? So first runner-up is Mr. Showstopper, and that went to Chris. So Aries, of course, he knows automatically that means that he won, but then he decides to come back, bring it in a little bit, give Chris, some love, and then he finishes and says, Mr. Couples Retreat King is Eris. And once again, he does his victory dance. And he says, crown me, baby. Okay. He was like, anybody that want to run up, any other husbands that want to do this, pull up. Because this is what he does. He's ready to be a pageant king all the time. And Jasmine says, she's super proud of him. She feels like she's wanted her king all this time because she's always been a pageant queen, and now she finally got him. She got an official king. Okay. So then everybody.
I'm sorry. I wish she would have been in the bottom.
The hell? How the hell Chris went over Clint?
Because she don't like him.
And Nicole was going to bat for her man.
Oh, absolutely.
She wasn't playing no games. So everybody's winding down. Kirsten says, she had a really good time. One of the guys made it a great point that marriage counseling should be free. And she didn't even realize it was her own husband. He was like, that was me. That's what I'm talking about. She was over there just gazing at Clint like.
Well, you know what that means, right? It's given it's given a whatchamacallit from another show we review. It's giving Zay. I act like I'm listening to you, but I'm not really listening to you. And then if you actually ask me to go back and repeat it, I don't know what the hell you said because I was never really listening in the first place.
First, like, how you supposed to be one of the judges? You don't even know what your own husband said.
Because she wasn't listening. Look, like you said, she was too busy worried about what Clint was doing. These matchmakers done messed up. That's all I'm saying.
I get it. Okay.
I think she would have taken Clint over Shaq.
Jasmine is putting Eris on to this pageant tradition where he needs to lay down, fake sleep with his crown and sash on. Eris says he's addicted. He's addicted now. He needs more crowns. He said that he can't even be called Eris anymore. That's old news. It is Eris PK, pageant king.
Put some respect on his name.
You're right. They definitely gave the wrong person the crown. Clint is super disappointed, as he should be, because he got his crown stolen.
And Gina's like, do you want me to tell you why you lost?
What? No, she didn't. Did she?
Yes, she did. She said something about, I could tell you why, but I knew if you got last, you were going to harp on it all night. Like you said, he had nobody on his team. She wasn't fighting for him at all.
Poor baby.
If anything, she was ready to tell him why he lost.
It's the first night. They're sharing the bed together, sharing the bedroom. And Clint is excited, nervous, and anxious, but he says it's a big step. they agreed that it kind of feels like Jamaica, so it doesn't feel weird. It's time for lights out. So he like struck. She even had my baby burning his hand trying to turn out the damn lights. Like,
Well, I think he wanted to turn out the light. I don't think it was her or someone.
no, she said it's time for lights out.
Oh, well.
He couldn't figure it out, so he had to unscrew the bowl. Poor
So,
Kirsten. Shaq caught her on camera snoring.
oh, yes, he did.
Jasmine, she's upset because Eris got up and meditated without her, although she did mention to him the night prior that
That was super selfish. I'm not gonna lie to you. That was super,
she
super
wanted to
selfish.
meditate together. He says that it slipped his mind, and he did notice that her energy was off, but he's happy that she did finally speak up, and he's happy about that she expressed her feelings, and says that he's happy that she's getting more and more comfortable speaking up. So
am I the only person that sees he's so selfish? I'm sorry. I feel like we need to, because I think that we've been giving Jasmine a hard time, but Eris is still selfish, and it would be hard to deal with a man that is so into himself and he never takes a moment to really think about you. And I get it. He doesn't like you, but I don't think that keeps you from being a decent and good person and being like, hey, I'm going outside for yoga.
I wouldn't say that he's not being a decent and good person.
It wouldn't have took him a second to be like, hey, I'm going out to do yoga. Do you want to come with me? Now, if he said, oh, yo, I tried to wake you up. I asked you. You were like, nah. That's different.
They didn't say whether she I'm guessing she wasn't.
No, you know what he did? And I can bet money, allegedly, in my opinion, he got up. Oh, she ain't up. And went out and went about his business because he's selfish.
Oh, you think she was asleep?
I think she was probably asleep when he got up and did it. And he said,
I probably
he did his thing.
I wouldn't have woke her up either.
But then she's like, but you didn't. And that's why I said, if you would have gave her the choice, I'm always about give me the choice. If I stay late, because then she couldn't have been mad later on. That's why she was mad. He never even gave her the choice. He just got up and did what he wanted to do without her.
Well, he did make it up later. Okay. He says you can never meditate too much or pray too much. And he took her outside on their balcony to go meditate, and tells her to focus on positive moments from the past because they are going to have a positive day. And
now, I did think this was very sweet.
And she loved it, and now she feels better. So I did, like, I know me personally, I probably wouldn't have. Yes, you mentioned it to me, but he said it slipped his mind, which is totally different. Me, on the other hand, if I see that you're sleeping and maybe this is the normal time I do it, I'm not going to wake you up either.
So Chris decides to be the sweet guy that he is. I love Chris. And he surprises Nicole with a scavenger hunt. I said, Chris is me in male form. Like, he's just so romantic. He's so like, let me think of how I can surprise you and do something sweet, but it's so little, but it's just little thoughtful thing. I love it. I love it.
So I thought it was cute, right? But I don't know why. I just felt like we could have put like a rose, a flower, something at like each, some type of reward for like finding each, like something.
This is why don't nobody do shit for her.
Because normally with the scavenger hunt, you normally get some type of reward
for you
for finding each thing. So that's what I mean. It doesn't, I wasn't saying like big. He could have got like, like a half a dozen of roses or something and put like a flower on each, but like just like a little something to collect for,
Well, she was collecting her notes.
That's part of the scavenger hunt.
No, look, maybe we both put some high maintenance hoes because
scavenger hunt come with shit.
I'm like, yeah, I was waiting. I was like, and then when he was like, that's the last one, I was like, but where's the big it? That's why you taking me on a hunt, right? Because I
gotta find something.
Yeah. So Nicole loves it and says that she loves the validation from Chris and says she needs it less and less, but appreciates it more and more. So they end up with the same bears that they wanted to see so badly. And these bears are cute. They're at the front door. I would have definitely went up and tried to rub one. That's just me.
Baby bears hurt too. And normally if there's a baby, the mama's somewhere close.
And I will say, I thought, so Clint is so intrigued. He wants to go out. and see them for
He
himself.
beat your
Now,
ass.
I would have done the same thing, so me and Clint connect there. My only thing is, them bears, once I would have seen, them bears was coming from the side. They was coming up through the car. Like, I was like, oh, like, he definitely could have got.
Let me, but you know, Clint actually has experience with bears. He
I've
was,
been in the woods one time.
so have I. I don't have experience with bears.
No, we knew that there might be bears and stuff outside.
Latrice, you sound crazy. He has experience with, he had bears all around his tent. He's gone backpacking through the mountains and
No,
been
you
around
just
bears.
be real quiet. You just be real quiet. The bears will leave you alone. I'm not gonna say that I knew the bear was outside my tent, but I knew that there were living things walking around the campsite when we went to sleep. And you just be real quiet and you act like you don't hear it. Just let them live.
That's not the same thing as walking out your front door where all the bears can see you.
Well, like he said, as long as you respect them, they'll respect you.
This is the same
So
person that went and walking down Alligator Alley. So I do believe she would walk outside to go see the damn bears with no experience. Hearing bears, having them in the vicinity.
you know what I would have done? I would have did what Eric said. I would have put on the bear spray, the bear repellent.
I'm done.
So he said Clint lets us know that he backpacks all around the Smoky Mountains and has had bears outside his tent, as Nels has said. So he feels as long as you respect them and give them their space, they'll be respectful as well. And I said, you know, Clint, I knew I liked you. Now, this one won't even go in the woods with the bears with you. So Shaq and Kirsten go
I'll
to
be there when you get back.
You stupid. Shaq and Kirsten go to this indoor tubing spot, which was so up my alley. Kirsten
I never been to an indoor one. I thought that was dope.
I did think that was dope. Now Kirsten is a little nervous, and Shaq says he's surprised and actually a little tickled that she's so nervous when she's usually the one that's all about the activities. Afterwards, she brings up decision day and how she's unsure of how it's going to go since they've had such issues with communication, and it's really taking a toll on her. I think this was her way of telling him, "I'm not choosing you on decision day. That's just me." Now, she explains that she isn't sure if they want to build on this, miscommunication that they have. Now, Shaq believes their communication has grown, is confused that Kirsten feels this way, and wonders what more she needs out of a marriage. He tells her he just wants both of them to be happy, and he thinks that they're learning together, and he enjoys that. So Clint and Gina, they're going on a roller coaster of love. Well, won't say it's love, but it looks like fun. And he says it's going to be a lot of moaning. So they look like they're having a ball. So they go over to grab some moonshine cocktails afterwards. And Clint compares their relationship to a roller coaster with a lot of ups and says, but that down is the most fun. Gina feels like they had a good meeting with Dr. Pepper and is focusing on all the things she would miss without Clint. Gina asks Clint if he realizes why they are matched now, and he agrees that he does. And she says he says he wants to continue having fun with her and look at their relationship day by day and decide whether if they're stronger than the day before. I'm not going to hit you with a Britney. I'm going to save y'all this time.
Yeah.
Because it's definitely in my jukebox. It's definitely there.
You look like it's taking everything inside of you to not do it.
I'm stronger than yesterday. Hey, now it's nothing but I went through a Britney Spears phase. I did. Okay. So Eris and Jasmine decide to go rock climbing. And I always feel like their dates are so weak. I'm sorry. And she beats Eris to the top. So, he's like, congratulations to her. He can't even
Right? He was so upset.
He can't even take the L. You win prom king one time and lost your mind. So then they jump around on trampolines and they play a little dodgeball and they go to sit down and talk. And Eris asks if she can see he's actually trying to put an effort despite the morning meditation mishap. Jasmine says she thinks they've been doing better since the meeting with the experts. She wishes it was more, but thinks that he is trying. She said she'd like him to get off his phone more. And he tells her, if you feel that way, well, then you need to speak up and just say, get off your phone. Because we clearly know he's a little assertive. So Jasmine realizes that this is an issue now and has been in previous relationships with her, I guess, speaking up. So she knows she needs to start. And in that moment, rather than letting things simmer, and then she has a reaction that maybe is a little bit unwarranted.
I'd let them have it a long time ago.
What happened?
But I let him have it a long time ago.
Right.
So the ladies, they're outside having some drinks while the guys are inside preparing some food. Clint says he wants to hear about everybody's sex life.
Because
And
he ain't getting none.
He ain't getting nada. Eric says that he's not joining in that conversation. He has nothing to say. Chris says they may or may not have had sex last night. And Shaq swears up and down he heard them. See, that's what I'm saying. Whether I'm Shaq or whether I'm Eris, whether I'm doing it or not, I'm not going to want to hear you. Shaq says him and Kirsten, they're pretty private, and what happens between them, he's just glad it happened. He don't know how, he don't know why. He's just glad. Kirsten.
And that's what I was gonna say. I was getting ready to say earlier. It sounds like they did it that one time, and that's it.
That is how it seems.
Kirsten gives me the vibes. You are only smashing to conceive. Don't ever think that you're gonna get anything outside. Or maybe she have enough drinks, but outside of
I was
that,
about to say you better get her some drinks and get her some more paint.
Right.
Kirsten asked the ladies how they're feeling, and Gina said that she's fine. She knows decision day is coming up quick, and she does enjoy Clint as a person. They're consistently giving it their all, and they had a good meeting with Dr. Pepper. She told him to focus on a deep friendship. So that's what they've been focusing on. Clint says
she said like a loving friendship, but you're close.
Probably. She said the way you would love a close friend.
The way you would love a friend. See, for me, that's bad advice because I don't want to my friends.
Exactly. And that's what I was literally like, but she's like, if that's what you guys want, that's what you're gonna get. Okay. Clint says they're still taking it day by
any
day.
means necessary.
Huh?
By any means necessary. We're gonna keep y'all together.
Chicken dead chicken. And they don't have a preconceived notion outcome. They don't have a preconceived outcome. And they don't want to judge things too early because they're growing day by day. Eris says he's on the same page because he doesn't want to get to the end and have any regrets, and says he's doing what the experts told him to. And if he knew his answer 100%, he probably would have been done. He does feel like this weekend helped, though. Now, Jasmine reminds the ladies that last time they met, she was at her breaking point, but they've talked since then, and their communication, they've communicated about her speaking up and telling him when he does something that she doesn't like, and she feels like they're getting past all that, and she thinks that it's been helping. So they're definitely in a better space. Eris is still looking for that spark, that aha moment. And he wants, right? And he wants to have enough on decision days to be able to see where it could be in the future. And Clint completely relates to him. Now, Shaq says he doesn't want them to get jealous.
But see, I feel like Clint really likes her. Again, I've already said, I don't think it's Clint, it's Gina.
No. I think he does. I think he does like her. But I think as far as where they are in their relationship, he means like he can relate. Like there's no, they're not really progressing, really.
Right.
And doesn't really know where they stand. Shaq tells the guys that he doesn't want them to get jealous, as far as physical attraction, they've kind of moved past that. And he feels that, that he got what he wanted, but it's taking a little time because she needed to get comfortable, but felt like, she had her guard up all these weeks. And now it finally hit her that decision day is coming up. And now she's ready to receive him. And he feels like
Mhm.
it could have been like this from day one. You know, we could have been in a positive position and been good and been further along than Chris and Nicole.
That part.
Kirsten doesn't really know what decision day is looking like for her. She says she's in the middle of the road right now. These are two different conversations.
Mhm.
And she still feels like, you know, they're having communication issues, and she doesn't feel like conversation should really be that difficult with her husband. Now, Eris asked Shaq, what does he think?
Because she thinks she's supposed to tell and he's supposed to do. That's just my opinion about Kirsten. I think she thinks she's supposed to want what she wants and express it to him, and she thinks he's supposed to do it, and there's supposed to be no rebuttals.
It's kind of giving that on his end too.
That's why they're not working.
Well, so Eris asked Shaq, what does he think it has to be for it to be a definite? Shaq says it's, you know, he's still interested to meet her family, but he ain't gonna beg, and he's not gonna ask anymore because he's already brought it up.
Right.
So the men served the food. They also made a red velvet cake to celebrate Clint and Nicole's birthday. Clint brings up the topic of what they need to be from their significant other for D-Day. Eris says that he needs Jasmine to continue to speak her mind. He says that he wants to use all the tools that they were given by the experts, and they're not where they want to be, but they have all the resources, and just need to put in the effort. He just wants her to work on her communication, and his intention is to create a safer environment for her to be more vulnerable. And he says that he commends her for how she handled everything so gracefully, because anybody else would have probably snapped. Absolutely.
You know what it
And
gave me? It gave me
pageant answers.
this is the best that you could do, because we know Eris thinks highly of himself and he ain't gonna be out here begging nobody. But if you had to get down on bended knee and really, you know, that's right. That's what it gave. It was like, I'm begging you, please come back. You know what it was giving that, like, but please don't leave me. I know I'm fucked up. And I admit that I'm fucked up. And I'm still fucked up. But I'm hoping that you stay. That's what it was giving.
He says that they've had plenty of difficult conversations, so they don't have a problem talking about things. But given the state of their relationship and sometimes the environment, you know, it hasn't always been easy. And he salutes her for handling things the way that she did. And she actually gets super emotional. Now, Kirsten,
She's like, I finally feel like he sees me.
Kirsten says that her and Shaq have been trying to get their communication in the right direction, and it's been a struggle. She gets
Struggle bus.
she gets a little flustered when, you know, they have difficult conversations, and she knows going forward her intentions are to be able to open up to him and express how she's feeling and why she's feeling that way, and develop a healthier way to communicate. But she says that she needs more grace in this marriage and for it to be more consistent. And Shaq says her feelings are valid and he loves it. I said, Shaq, what was that?
I thought that was weird too. I was like, so we
He
just
was literally just complaining about it in the kitchen. And now when she says it, he's like, ah, your feelings are valid and I love it.
So he's another one that's like Jasmine. That's why they can relate so well. So he just I mean, he's more, he'll speak up more than Jasmine, but he still clearly has an issue where.
But I think he has to speak up when he's aggravated or upset. He can't just speak up.
Woo! Okay.
So Chris says that they don't see eye to eye on everything,
He
but
said
they
they're not
always
perfect. I
Yeah,
thought
I must have left that part out. Chris says that they're not perfect. They don't see eye to eye on everything, but they always come to a compromise. He's always able to communicate without her getting annoyed. They did move on to the next level and told each other that they love each other. And it was a huge moment. He expresses that she needed validation, and they tell each other that, you know, they love each other and everyone cheers to love. I don't know why when he said it in that moment, it made it feel like he said it because she needed validation.
I told you that I felt like Nicole was doing this to get that out of him. And now I feel
I'm not
like,
saying that he
you
doesn't.
said, he
I'm not
probably
saying that he
said it
doesn't
because
love
he was
her.
like, if I don't hurry up and tell this girl I love her, I don't know how decision day gonna go.
Gina says she feels like her and Clint have been using the tools that the experts have given them and trying to put them into practice,
But they're
but
stuck
they're
in the
just stuck
friend
in the
zone.
friend zone. And she says that, they don't have blow ups, but they're a little annoyances here and there. And Clint's face was like, oh, are there? Like, what?
Right. Like, you didn't tell me nothing
she
about
she
that.
always like, you know what?
She always slights him. She always
Yes,
slights him.
she does. But there's nothing that
Sadly, I know we said they were gonna end up together, and I want to see Clint happy, but I'm fully believing that Gina is not that person for him.
absolutely not. But she says that it's nothing that constitutes, a divorce. Clint says that they're moving in the right direction and trying to put themselves in a good position for decision day. He said they're putting all the kindling on the fire and spraying all the gasoline around the damn thing, and they are trying to ignite something. Then Gina says at a certain point, it starts to feel forced. When it starts feeling forced, it makes it more unattractive. And said that she didn't sign up for this journey to be married to a friend. And my poor baby's heart looks totally, totally broken.
Everybody keeps saying, "Oh, Clint does like her. Clint really does like her." And
Mm-hmm.
it's sad. Oh, I
And
think
then Nicole, she cheers this to super friends because that's what they are, and they're super friends.
Mm. So then we see Eris head out. He has to break out early. How convenient.
He got work. Leave him be.
That's what he's telling us.
He came back.
He's going to meet up with Felina.
He came
Anyway,
back after that.
did he?
Yeah, he's on the next episode.
Oh no, I'm just saying, but what did he do?
He went for work.
Okay. Eris says he has to leave early because of a work event to attend that he couldn't get out of. Jasmine is sad that he's leaving and felt like the dinner was a turning point for them, and said Eris is saying all of those great things that made her feel seen. And so she's sad he must go and has to sleep without him. Bitch, it's not like y'all been sleeping together and doing anything. Like, I mean, I get it, but like the pillow is probably more.
I was about to say she wants that chest pillow, apparently. They probably don't even do that.
I was gonna say the pillow has probably been more of a companion to her than Eris this whole time. So Nicole is getting ready for the 80s party.
You got me. There's no way I would be able to do that. You my whole man, and like
I
you don't
can't
even
push
want
up
to
on you.
you don't even want to touch me. You're not even like giving me nothing. Like I would have been deuces.
What we not about to do is play house and not play house, okay?
I would have been. It would have been deuces for both. Like if I was on either side. Either side.
So Nicole is getting ready for the 80s party, and her and Chris are both amazed at the growth in Eris and felt the tears that Jasmine had at dinner were happy tears. Kirsten and Shaq are practicing his dance move because he's a 90s baby and he don't really know what the 80s are. And I said, Jesus Christ, bless his heart. Thank God for the 80s.
Yeah, he said he was the youngest one there, right?
Yeah. Clint has on eyeliner and has really gotten into character.
Yes, he did.
Yes, he did. And apparently it's Nicole and Clint's birthday, which Nell's already said. And they wish Nicole and Chris, where they present them with a cake and wish them a happy birthday. And Nicole goes on about how every birthday she takes this time to go down the spiral, to talk about how every birthday she normally cries because she's not where she wants to be in her life, and it's just so much and life is so overwhelming, but now she's crying happy tears because she has great friends and a great husband. And Nicole, I'm gonna need you to find yourself, baby. Before you went on a TV show, your birthday should have been just as happy and just as complete. I'm gonna need you to find yourself. Let's start a GoFundMe for Nicole.
For what? She's getting free therapy. now.
But it's couples therapy and she needs personal therapy. And that was pretty much the end of the episode, y'all. Unless you had something to add from the 80s party, because I don't.
Nope.
Well, guys, if you have not already, please make sure that you hit that like button.
You comment.
You subscribe.
And you hit the notification bell.
And make sure that you're following us on all the platforms, the TikTok, the Twitter, the Facebook, the IG. And yeah, we'll be back in a couple days to bring you a new episode. And hopefully, I'm sorry to sound terrible. I hope it's ending soon. Can we get a decision day? It's season 16 and we on episode 16. How many more episodes can we have, Lifetime?
Goodness.
Yes. But yes, we appreciate y'all for tuning in. We love y'all and we'll catch you in a couple days. Like I said, have a good night.
Good night.
Bye-bye.